Howdy YouTube. So today we're going to be doing a steering gear on a 98 Dodge Ram 2500 turbo diesel, and we're going to replace the steering gear with this redhead steering gear box. They're pretty good stuff. This is like the fourth one we've put in within the last year on different vehicles. We're also going to be doing this Speedy diesel support, and what it actually does, it actually helps support the shaft so it doesn't break. They have a really big problem because there's so much torque from the diesel and everything, and the big tires, and people have big performance like big lifts on their vehicles. It actually puts too much torque on the end of your shaft and it causes the steering box to strip out. So we'll go ahead and replace our steering box and put this added on bearing, and I'll show you what to do. Alright guys, so first of all, what you want to do is make sure that your steering wheel is straight, and you want to take your keys out of the ignition, and you want to go ahead and then you want to kind of lock the steering wheel a little bit. And then what you want to do is what I did here is I took my seat belt, wrapped it around the steering wheel column, and then I took my belt that was in the middle and I draped over here and made it nice and tight, so this isn't going to move once we pull our bolt out of our steering column. So I'll show you what to do next. Okay guys, so I got my the 18mm crowfoot on the line there, and it's 18 on the other one too, so you take those lines loose, and you want to take, I think you see it down there, the steering column bolt down there that holds the column on. It's a 13. Take that off, and then you should be able to pop the column off from the steering box with a big pry bar. So I'll show you what to do next. Alright, now that the lines are loose, we're going to go into the bottom and drop our other stuff. Alright guys, we're here on the bottom. So what you want to do is you want to take this 1 and a 5/16 nut off, and then you're going to take this 15 off here and this one over here, and then vice versa on the other side. Take those off. Then you're going to have to get a steering gear Pitman Arm remover. Put that on there and rip that off. Once you get that off of there, you want to make sure, before you do that, you want to make sure you mark here and there with a kind of arrow so you know which way this goes. Sometimes this gets flopped around and you forget how it goes on there, so you just want to make an arrow the way it goes and then mark it up with that. After that, then you want to go ahead and take your 3/4 bolts out, and then the fun begins, because your steering gear is pretty heavy, so you're going to try to drop that down and it should pop out. Alright fixers, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a mark where this bottoms out. So you're going to take a pair of vice grips, put it on here. You're not going to really reef those on there, you're just going to barely apply them so it can twist. And then we're just going to move our vice grips, if it's going to allow me to do it with one hand here. And we're going to count how many rotations we have. So we have 1. So there's 1 1/4-ish. So we gotta split that in half. So let's go the other way just to double check. So we got. So what I did was this is like a 1 3/4 return. So I split that in half. It's 8.75, and I lined it up so I have my flat spot to my steering gear or steering linkage. So I should be able to put it back up in there and it should line up. So we got our new gear back up in place. They're all tight. So now we're going to put our Pitman Arm on. So you see these big thick ones, those line up with these thick lines here. You just want to make sure you put them in the right spot. You shouldn't be able to get them mixed up as long as you didn't flip your Pitman Arm. Alright, now that we got this back up in there, I went and I tightened down the Pitman Arm with the old nut, and being we're putting the B&D thing on there, we're going to put this on here, and I'll show you what to do with the other stuff. And this nut here is a 33mm. So with your B&D thing, you got some awesome hardware, you got a cool sticker. These bolts here are for your bearing, going like that. You want to make sure you do a washer and washer. And then these bolts here are going to go through your sway bar, through this guy here. So when you get this in place, you want to go ahead and take these out always, because these are actually going to go down and slide over your shaft of your new bearing or your new nut thing you got, and it's going to sink it into place. So got this in here. So what you want to do is you got to take these out in order to get it all the way up on the shaft. So you got to take these little screws out, and this is a 3/32. And I just got one bolt holding my bracket on for right now, and then eventually it's going to go on top of my bracket. and it's going to be tightened up. So I got it in there. So what you want to do is you kind of want to lay it behind your sway bar and push it up in there. Push your bearing onto your shaft, and you want to take these little things, those right there, completely out, so you can shove up on your shaft. And then after you get that in place, you want to go ahead and tighten your things down, and then put your bolts through. So when we're going back together, you want to put some new O-rings on there. This came with the redhead kit. You're going to put a new O-ring on your line, and vice versa on the other line too. Alright guys, so you saw the picture there, and that basically boils down to is that we need to jack up our front end, and we're going to have to spin the tires back and forth, turn the key on, all the way to stop, for so they get all the air out of the system. Apparently they just have really bad issues with air. So what you want to do is that you want to do that 15 to 20 times, and then just let it sit for a couple hours. They recommend that you do it overnight, or you can just do it for a couple hours, and then you have to do it another 10 times, and then have somebody help you and add fluid to it so you don't get any air in the system. So I'm all done, so go drive it. Howdy YouTube, so thanks for watching my video, appreciate it. So that's how you do a redhead steering gear, which they're great for if you have any issues with big tires or anything like that. We've gone through a couple of them in the last year or so, not the kits themselves, but just the older gears, because that's a problem they have, the gears break. So these seem like they're a lot better than your stock performance stuff. Also, the B&D bracket, it also helps with keeping some of the pressure off the new one. So I don't know if that helps, but it seems like it has been helping also. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. And any questions, comment down below. And if you like my video, first time watching it, just give me a comment, give me a like, give me a subscribe, or anything you want to do. And tell a friend. So appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.